Welcome back, tech friends. My name's Gareth. This is Tech Check. Today we're checking out this RM1000e 1000-watt power supply from Corsair. It's their 2025 version, and we're going to give you an unboxing. We're going to go through the actual unit itself, all the cables that it comes with, and connecting them. Talk about some of the features and the benefits, and then pose the question, is it actually worth it? Let's find out. So you've just been out, you've just purchased your new 40 series or 50 series graphics cards. It's got the new 12 volt high power cable, and you want to get rid of that unsightly mess with the 2 or 3 8-pin connectors. Well, this PSU is going to do absolutely that. And as always, guys, Corsair didn't send this out. It's purchased with my hard-earned cash, just to make some content, give you an update on ATX3.1 and PCIe Gen 5.1 as well. So taking a closer look at the outer packaging, and you'll notice on the outside of the PSU, it's sporting that Y new look that the new 3500 cases have got. It gives us all of our connections, which we'll go through shortly. On this side, it gives us an indication of all the cables and connectivity. On this side, it just tells us that it's fully modular. It gives them a platinum certified cybernetics score, and it runs with the 12 volt 2x6 cable as well. So opening this up, as always, we're greeted with our safety and compliance information. We have on the right hand side all of our cables. We've got our 4 PSU screws. And in this little box or little bag here, we've got a load of zip ties. We've got our UK plug and a plethora of cables all here, which we'll go through very, very shortly. And last but not least, our power supply. So it's genuinely a really nice looking power supply. ATX3.1 ready, PCIe Gen 5.1. What does that mean? So you've probably noticed since the 40 series cards have been released, the ATX3 was the new standard. It came with the 12 volt high power cable, but that came with its own problems. You've seen a lot of melting cables. Some of that was down to dodgy cables. Some of it was down to human error, not pushing the cables in. Well, ATX3.1 basically improves the quality, and basically on the cables, it shortens the sense pins, so if you've not got a full connection, it will power down the system and things like that. One of the main reasons why I wanted this particular one is because of this particular connection here, 12 volt 2x6 connector. It can still use the older ATX3.1 12 volt high power cables, but it does come with the new connector here, which again should improve any particular issues when you're plugging it into your graphics card. It's got those shorter pins, and it's basically a much smaller footprint and a little bit more efficient as well. Nice looking unit, everything that we would come to love and know. Very large power switch on the back, which I don't dislike. Sometimes it's much easier if you're turning your system on and off to have a button that you can actually find, see and press with ease, which is quite nice. It sports that look that the new 3500 and the new Corsair cases are going with as well. Let's put this to one side, grab the cables. So onto the cables, we'll start with this side, predominantly the biggest cable in any system. And these are quite nice, in all honesty, guys. They are individually sleeved. It may eradicate the need for any extensions, and it also comes with a fairly nice cable tidier, or cable comb if you like, in which when this bends round into your 24-pin connection, you've got those nicely there. So it's going to tidy these cables up quite nicely. We then are faced with our 2 8-pin EPS cables. So like always, guys, these are all individually named. This one says CPU on it. So this side goes into our actual PSU, this side goes into our CPU, and you get 2 8-pin cables as well. So most systems of yesteryear used to use 1 8-pin, some 4 pins. Now most systems you can get away with using 1 8-pin. Some require an 8-pin and a 4-pin, and some boards, dependent on whether they're high-end boards, will require 2 8-pins as well, but nice that it's included. Now on to the most important cable that is in this particular PSU unit. Now, this is our 12 volt high power cable, but it's our 2x6 cable. So effectively, as I mentioned before, we have still 2 rows of 6, and then we've got our 4 sense pins, which are here. These sense pins are a little bit shorter, so it means that you really have to push and make a good connection into that graphics card and PSU unit. If these 4 sense pins aren't correctly seated, then you won't get any power. In terms of the length, I would say that is probably around 60 centimeters, 600 mil. So you've got plenty of room there, regardless of which case that you're actually putting it in. You'll know which end to put into your graphics card because it's got the cable comb on. The other side can go into our PSU. We'll move on to our SATA and our Molex connections. If you've got any SSDs or you've got any 3.5-inch mechanical drives, that will be requiring SATA power. We have one cable here which has 4 SATA connections on and is powered via a 6-pin PCIe cable. Then we also have a SATA PAX cable as well. So if you've got more SATA drives, not that many people will do nowadays because M.2s and NVMe drives are much more efficient, much quicker. Then you've got 4 on this one. You've also got an additional 3 on here, and you've also got a Molex connection. God help you if you're in 2025 and you're still rocking one of those, but at least it comes on there if you do need it. Now onto the other important cables. You get 2 8-pin PCIe cables. Now again, clearly identified by PCIe, and this is the end that goes into our graphics card. So this can support 2 8-pins, and it's got our cable combs and individually sleeved. You've got an 8-pin to a 6+2 pin. They can just nicely be pushed together, and then you can manage that by putting it into your graphics card. You get 2 of these. Now you might be asking, well, what happens if I've got something like a 7900 XTX or something like that that requires 3? Well, Corsair's got you covered because they actually give you a 12 volt high power connector to 2 6+2 cables here as well. So you've got a choice really. 3 8-pins required. I'd use that cable on one of those. Should have no problems at all. Let's go ahead, plug in these cables, show you exactly where they go, and then it gives you a better indication of when you come to build your system, which cables go where. So we'll start off with our 24-pin. As we mentioned before, the ones with the cable combs goes into our motherboard, which then leaves the other end. We have 2 actual connectors. We can put those in, make sure that they're pushed all the way in till you hear that click. We can then move on to our CPU. Now, the easiest way to tell which side goes in, not only does it have CPU on one of the connectors, but you'll notice as well on this connector, it's twice as thick as this particular connector. So this side goes in our PSU. You'll see here where it says you've got 3 CPU or PCIe connectors, and then you've got 1 at the top. I'm going to put 1 down here at the bottom. That's going to power our CPU power. Let's say that we do have a couple of external SSDs and we need SATA power to those. We can take our 6-pin, and that can go in either one of these SATA PATA connectors down here. If you are running one of the older graphics card that requires, let's say, 2 8-pin connections, you could use just this one cable here, or as I said before, you could use the 2 8-pin PCIe connectors. I prefer just a single cable. So as we mentioned, and this will be the same on the other 12 volt high power connector, you'll see that the grey is different colour to the actual black sense pins. So what we need to do here is we need to make sure our sense pins are lined up, and we make a firm connection all the way in. I can't get it in. There we go. So as we push that in, we're looking for the grey to disappear, and that little click that you've just heard, meaning that we've got a nice solid connection, and that connector is not moving and it's nicely situated, and that's exactly what you want, especially if you're cramming and squeezing cables into the back of a tight mid tower, for instance. Just touching on price, I mentioned that the 1000 or RM1000X is slightly more expensive than this. This came in at £150,000 Great British pounds, if you like. I've seen it from anywhere between 140 and 170. So it will depend on where you buy it from and at what point of the year that you purchase it. But for a 1000-watt power supply, platinum certified, 2x6 high power cable, lots of connectivity, individual sleeved with cable cones, at a decent price, guys. I'm going to say that. It's a really decent price. If you was to compare it to something like the A1000G from MSI or a couple of other more reputable brands, this one does come in a slightly cheaper price. I think this one's got a slightly more premium feel to it. I've got the A1000G in my system, still rocking the ATX3.0 with the original high volt power cable with the Strix 4090 OC. Never had any issues, touch wood, but it's been a good year and a half now. Constantly putting it in, taking it out without issues. So I do think take a little bit of time, make sure that all your cables are fully seated correctly. Be as careful as you can when putting it into the system and taking anything out. And I don't think you'll go wrong. But overall, I'm pleasantly surprised. I like everything about it. Comes in at a decent price. And I would have no quarrels with saying, would I buy this? Absolutely. Would I recommend it for anyone that's buying a 5080 or a 5090? Absolutely. I think it's a good pickup. Pick it up at the right price at the right time. I don't think you can go wrong. I'm hoping you've enjoyed the video, guys. If you have, smash that like button. If you've got one of these, let me know down below what's your thoughts on it. And any questions, leave them down below. I'll get back to each and every one. Take it easy. Bye.